Hey everyone, this is Andrew, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about how I write vocals. So the process for writing vocals for a song can vary quite drastically depending on your writing style, depending on the song. For me, it's pretty much the same every single time with a few variations. However, there's definitely exceptions. There's songs I write pretty much exclusively one way, and songs I write pretty much exclusively another way. Just to pause the video for a sec, let me know in the comments what your technique for writing vocals are, if you currently write vocals, and if you don't, just let me know what you've tried and how it went. Back to the video. The first way, which is probably the most common, is kind of the Mike Patton style. He was the singer, well, I don't know if he still is, he's still alive, the singer of Faith No More, and he was in Dillinger Escape Plan for a little bit, and Mr. Bungle, I think. I remember seeing an interview or on a video that he writes mostly for the way that certain phrases or words sound more than their meaning. And this, in general, is kind of my approach. However, it's a little bit of a hybrid. Another common approach you'll hear about from singers is that they write all the lyrics ahead of time, and then they try to sing over the song with their lyrics, and then they'll kind of go back and hash through it and fix things to make it all work. Another option is that while you're listening to the track, in your head you might just get a melody, and then you kind of start pairing it up with words and phrases and build it up from there. But the way that I do it, which again is kind of the hybrid version of the Mike Patton approach, is I'll listen to the song and I'll start just kind of singing notes. So if the song's in the key of E minor, I might just start singing an E note and then just sliding around and kind of jamming on it for a bit. No words, just straight up notes. So, if I don't have the song playing right now, but I'll just go. Just kind of jamming the song like you're playing a guitar or a piano. Just kind of hitting random notes, trying to figure out what to do. And from that point, I might start mouthing certain vowels or something just to get a certain sound. So, an example of that would be like la ba da whoa. So I'm actually using different vowels or sometimes even consonants on certain notes. And the reason for this is that, to me, certain combinations of notes will sound drastically different depending on what words you say for those notes, and also how you phrase the words too. So it's not always locked in place. Usually there's only a couple of note transitions where I'm like, oh, that sounds really good when I sing it as an ooh or an ah or an e or something. And then what I do is I kind of start phrasing little groups of words. So an example of this that I can think of recently is from my song Edge, which I'll link in the description. It's on YouTube and it's also on Spotify and blah, 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 those other websites. But the second verse goes something like this. I can feel you on my radio. The frequency is riding high or low. And the way that started, at least that I can remember how it started, is I was playing the music to that, and in my head I was hearing na 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 dio. So that little EO sound at the end just kind of stuck itself in there. And then I just kind of in my head thought of the phrase, I can feel you on my radio. So I can feel you on my radio. And since this was verse 2, I kind of already started establishing a meaning of the song. And so I already had lyrics done. So now I have this phrase, I can feel you on my radio. And then I have to think, okay, does that have any relevance to what I'm trying to make these lyrics about? And, most of the time there's a way to get a certain phrase or a couple of phrases and justify them. Now, this isn't kind of like BS justifying, like, oh, technically, blah, blah, blah. You want to make sure that it's still central to the core of your song. And most of the time you can phrase it well, because it's usually only a couple of words or a phrase that you kind of start with and lock in for how it sounds. So then you have 3 more phrases after that, because it's a verse and there's 4 kind of strings. So there's, I can feel you on my radio, your frequency is riding high or low. So I can feel you on my radio was the locked in part, and then I had the next 3 lines to kind of expand upon that and make sure that the concept of the lyrics fit in the song. And in this particular verse, what I did is I just used a AA rhyme scheme. The rhyme, I can feel on my radio, your frequency is riding high or low. I know that I never want to know if it gets easier or harder as we go. So it's just every word ends in the same kind of sound, so they don't rhyme. This may not work, this may work. So it's all up to the song. So that's most of the way that I write vocal parts. I start with kind of a note progression. I might start getting some sort of vowel sounds, come up with a phrase, and then I'll expand upon that phrase. And typically, this will happen as like the first line of a song. And then once I get that phrase, that may determine what I write about for the rest of the song. So I start with a couple cool phrases, and then there's usually a certain theme around them that I can think, okay, now what do I want to write about? And then you look at what lines you have and what you want to keep, and then you can string those together into a cohesive bunch of lyrics, if that's important to you. I tend to prioritize the vocal sounds and the overall song more than the lyrics, but I always want to make sure that my lyrics I can at least justify, and that the meaning behind them is something that's, it's actually like a meaning. I'm not just saying a bunch of gibberish. That if someone were to ask me, what's your song about, I want to be able to tell them relatively clearly. So another approach that I never use is starting from lyrics and writing vocals with my lyrics in front of me and making that all work. And I know that a lot of bands do this. I've heard interviews, for example, Protest the Hero, where he gets the lyrics from the bassist, or at least back in the day in their old albums, he got the lyrics from the bassist and he gets the music from the whole band, and he has to kind of combine these complicated lyrics with this complicated music. And I've heard a bunch of other bands say that they kind of do the same thing. They'll write lyrics ahead of time and then do this. And one of my singers in one of my bands has done this too. He'll have scribbles of lyrics pre-written. When we have a song, he'll pull out his lyric book and start reading or singing along to different things, trying to find the one that fits the theme of the song the best. And to me, I've never placed as much importance into my lyrics as the melodies and everything like that. So for me, that would be kind of a backwards approach, but it depends on your style. But since I've had a singer in my band who does that writing style, I have experience with what it's like. He listens to the song ahead of time. He has its lyrics. He would come over, and he talked about kind of how he came up with it. But in general, I've watched the process where he would just kind of start singing lines and trying to make it flow in the song, and then what would inevitably end up happening is that you have certain words that just didn't work. So you'd end up cutting certain words out and trying to come up with a new line that fits with the flow of the song, the flow of the vocal line, and also fits the meaning of the lyrics. So it's a very iterative process where you start with these. Usually you can write better lyrics this way because you're spending 100% of the time writing lyrics at a certain time. And for me, just sitting down and writing lyrics is like the most miserable part of writing a song. It's not that lyrics aren't fun or creative, it's just that I care so much. Like when I listen to a song, I almost never remember the lyrics. I have songs that my iTunes or Last.fm tells me to listen to like 300 times, and I know almost none of the lyrics, but I could like tap on a table every single drum groove. I can hum guitar melodies, I know the vocal melodies, I can sing along to it and just make up words. It just, to me, I guess in my brain, I just kind of place the least importance in lyrics. And then this last approach that I actually do use is more of a uncontrollable technique. So what this is that you'll listen to a song that you just wrote, or your band member can give you a song for you to write vocals to, and you'll just, over the course of listening to it, you'll just hear a melody. This happens all the time. When I'm writing guitar, I might, in my head, I'll just be going around the day, and in my head, I'll just get kind of like a groove of the song, and then I'll start thinking of, in my head, just the guitar parts, and then I'm like, oh crap, I get this song, I gotta remember it, and then the same goes for vocals, and you'll be listening to your music, and you'll just be like, something clicks, and then you might you'll have to try to sing it. So that's a little different challenge, but you'll just hear a part in your head while you're listening to music or while you're not listening to music, and then you'll just play the song, try to sing it, and then try to make it match the key, and then evolve it over time. And this technique I've used, probably at least for one vocal part in almost every song I've written. Sometimes it could be almost the entire song. You just kind of just have an idea, and it just rolls into the next idea, and you're just constantly just popping out vocal parts. And sometimes they always have lyrics, you'll just kind of get inspired. So this is uncontrollable, and it kind of just depends on the person who's writing the vocals, and it also depends with experience. I feel like over time, those situations happen more and more. Probably just because I've had more experience writing, and also I've listened to music over time, so you get more ideas for things you can do. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I'm pretty active in replying to my comments. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe for more. I upload videos every single Friday. See you next time.